7:30, we'll call the meeting to order. We'll stand, pledge allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The approval of the March 13th, 2023 meeting minutes. So moved. Second. Motion by Councilman Panic, second by Councilman Pacer to approve the March 13th, 2023 meeting minutes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Item 3, approve code/zoning workshop meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Panic, second by Councilman Deason to approve the code zoning workshop meeting minutes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't view it, yours is on your desk. They don't have to look.
That's all right, that's as long as you approve it. I haven't signed it. Okay, motion to approve the financial.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Pacer, second by Councilman Deason to approve the financial report. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Approval of the ZEO, we don't have any of the,
No report.
no report. Approve the fire department report, which we have here. Fire department answered 26 calls last month, and those calls were EMS, MVAs, and structure fire. The department members completed 312 hours of training last month. Some of the training included brush fire refresher and cardiac emergencies. Sounded by Tim McDowell, fire chief. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Let's see. Motion by Councilman Deason, second by Councilman Pacer to approve the fire department report. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Assessor report.
I was just read it.
On March 24th, we received the tentative railroad ceilings from the state, and they have been entered on the roll. I've been working on cleaning out my files according to the retention schedule. I am finding documents going back to 2009 that no longer need to be retained. I have been fortunate enough to be allowed to utilize one of the deputy town clerks to help me move all the deeds that have been filed separately into their respective proper record folders. Thank you, Barb Bradley, for the generosity of one of your deputies. There have been several residents who have reached out to me in regard to their assessments. They have either brought me documentation or asked me to do a property visit to determine the fair value of their property. I will have all my data entered and submitted to the county for filing of the 2023 tentative roll by April 21st. Any questions on approved?
So moved to approve.
Second.
Motion Motion by Councilman Panic, second by Councilman Deason to approve the assessor report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Item number 8, Resolution 23, adopting local law number 1 of 2023. Adopting local law number 1 of 2023, changing the previously established assessment grievance day pursuant to New York State Real Estate Property Tax Law, Section 512. Whereas proposed local law number 1 of 2023 of the town of Stafford entitled changing the previously established assessment grievance day pursuant to New York State Real Estate Property Law, Section 512, which proposed local law in its final form was presented to the town board at the meeting held on March 13th, 2023, and a copy thereof was kept with the town clerk, and copies both laid upon the desks of the members of said town board members and mailed to each member of the town board not in attendance at said meeting. And whereas a public hearing on the advisability of enacting said proposed local law was held on April 10th, 2023 before this town board pursuant to public notice duly published in the Daily News according to law, at which time all interested persons were heard. And whereas the town board of the town of Stafford, New York is of the opinion that adoption of said proposed local law number 1 of 2023 is in the best interest of the town of Stafford, New York, and now therefore be it resolved by the town board of the town of Stafford, New York, that grievance day be changed and said proposed local law number 1 be and the same be hereby adopted. And it be it further resolved that a certified copy of said local law number 1 of 2023 be filed with the New York State Secretary of State in accordance with the law, dated April 10th, 2023.
So move. Shouldn't we have a date in here over when? You know, if it's gonna be the first, say, Wednesday of June.
We should say it's the first, or the first Tuesday, just to copy what she did for the last week. So you're just basically moving it a week. It's always been traditionally the last Tuesday in May, so now we're just gonna make it the first Tuesday. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
First, we should say that it should be the first Tuesday of June.
So,
We should amend it to say,
so now therefore it be resolved by the town board of the town of Stafford, New York, that the grievance day be changed and said proposed local law number 1 of 2023 and the same hereby is adopted, with the grievance day being the first Tuesday
first Tuesday
of June.
So, motion to approve this will be with the grievance day being the first day of June.
First Tuesday.
First Tuesday in June.
First
So modification will be to the first Tuesday of June will be the set date. Set date.
Move to approve with said changes.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Pacer, second by Councilman Panic to approve with changes. Roll call vote.
Excuse me, Councilman Panic,
Yes.
Councilman Schram,
Yes.
Councilman Deason,
Yes.
Councilman Pacer,
Yes.
Supervisor Clement.
Yes. Passed 5-0. Resolution 24, resolution to accept auction bids. Whereas the town of Stafford has put items for the highway department to bid, whereas the town of Stafford Town Board would like to accept the auction bids of $36,000 for the truck bid and $8,500 for the mower. The highway department items listed at the auction. Now therefore be it resolved that the town of Stafford Town Board hereby accepts the auction bids of $36,000 for the truck bid and $8,500 for the mower bid. Motion to do this.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Deason, second by Councilman Schrag. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Approved, unanimous vote 5-0.
Steve, cover again, we had, this was a non-running truck.
Correct.
And that was the injector pump that
Looking at,
failed.
yep,
And,
looking
What?
at anywhere from
8,000 plus.
8,000 plus for a repair, so it's kind of an unknown.
alright,
You
and
hope
we,
it's the pump, and
we have one more truck of, that has that susceptibility.
yep, we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Alright.
Maybe it makes it.
I have to hand it to you again, you got more money for a non-running truck than I've seen them get for running trucks with similar miles. So keep your record afloat, but it's sad that we gotta retire this thing so early.
Yeah, it's.
Looks good though.
Yeah, I mean, he kept it waxed up and we had acid on the box, keep it shiny, and it, I guess it pays.
It matters.
It matters.
Yeah.
You know?
I think some little lipstick will do. Just
The certification on this, I, Barbara Radley, town clerk in the town of Stafford County, Genesee, and state of New York, do hereby certify that I have prepared the aforementioned resolution duly adopted by the town board of the town of Stafford on the 10th day of April 2023 with the original now on file in my office, and the same is correct and true copy of said resolution and of the whole thereof dated April 10th, 2023, Barbara Radley, town clerk.
We'll get that sometime, Barb.
Yeah. So,
Resolution number 25, appending the 2023 budgetary line items JCAP grant award. Whereas the town of Stafford Court received official notification from the state of New York Unified Court System that the town has been awarded a grant under the 2022-23 cycle of the Justice Court Assistance Program, JCAP, in the amount of $26,622.70. That's $26,622.70. Letter is attached, and whereas line items need to be amended in the 2023 budget to account for these funds. Now therefore be it resolved, the town of Stafford Town Board hereby amends the following line items. A3089, state aid revenues miscellaneous, $26,622.70. A1110.4, municipal court contractual, $22,922.70. And A1110.2, municipal court equipment, $3,700. Motion to do this.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Panic, second by Councilman Pacer to do the above. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Authorizing budget 21st transfers for 2023. Resolve the town board hereby authorizes the following budget transfers to. You want me to read them, or you've all got them there?
You got it.
Motion to do this?
So moved.
Second.
Who said, who? Kevin got it, okay. Motion by Councilman Schram, second by Councilman Pacer to do the budget transfers. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
What's that for?
Budget transfers, just moving money so we can pay bills.
Okay. Call for a meeting to, on resolution. Do I have that?
April 18th, I've already done it. Just tell everybody, it's April 18th,
April
17th.
So it did go then, Bert?
Yeah,
Oh, good.
Okay.
just tell everybody so they know.
Volunteer Fire Service Initiative. Governor Cathy Hochul 2024 budget address, stabilizing and strengthening the volunteer fire service in New York State. There's a letter here that we are asking supporters to reach out to their New York State Assembly members and senators to ask that they support these proposals being included in the Assembly and Senate for one House budget bills. Can we read it, or is this?
Who did it come from? Well, part of the problem is I think this is prior to the, well, it has to be prior, they haven't settled the budget
No,
yet.
this is part of the budget, so looking for support is all we're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, motion to do this, or I accept it, or we can't do that anyway?
Can't do nothing right now.
No, we can.
And we
If,
can support it.
I'm trying to look through here if there's anything that they draw us into.
The only thing would be the last bulletin on the bottom, in addition to new proposals, December 9th, 2020, government local signed legislation then to create an opt-in for all local government spreads and percent property tax exemption to volunteer firefighters and volunteer ambulance workers. We talked about that in the past. That's something we're gonna address here in the future for next year. And I think the county is also addressing that. I don't know where they are and what step they're in, but I think we could reach out and find out where they're at before we make further decisions.
Let's see, so if we make a resolution, who does it get sent to and how does it get sent? Is that, Barb, is that something you'll send out?
Yes, I will send them all to all the legislators after you, decided the resolution and adopted, proposed to adopt it.
It's kind of mom and apple pie thing, so. I make a motion that we, support the Governor Cathy Hochul 2024 budget address on strengthening volunteer fire service in New York.
Second?
Second.
Motion by Councilman Panic, second by Councilman Pazer. In favor of Cathy Hochul's 2024 budget address, stabilizing and strengthening volunteer fire service in New York State. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Changing lock system at the town hall. We've talked about this at length on many occasions, but have never done anything about it. But we go from a key system to a fob system. I don't have any numbers. What do we got here?
I don't have any, I did not, we don't have anything, I don't know why you got that.
Identifies person and time.
Yes. And we can automatically just get in and lock whoever you don't want to come in anymore with that fob, lock them out, change the lock, et cetera. So Bob would have access, obviously, as a supervisor, and maybe deputy supervisor.
A lot of
What? I know the last one was so trustworthy and loyal, and then you got me. All right, one of the things I know from the places I've been where you have these systems, you gotta make sure the doors function properly, because you swipe, it gives you a certain amount of time to get through it, and then it locks again. And we had problems with some gates, and people would swipe and they'll go through, and all of a sudden they're up against the door. So I think this needs to be a two-step process, and go and make sure our doors function properly, because we've got this one back here settling.
Yeah.
But then on the interior, they all seem to be in good shape, so if that's the scope where you wanna go in the interior, we either need to fix the outside doors and then put this in, or put it in on the inside. I can't see putting an electronic lock system on how these doors function right now, especially the back one.
The back one sticks so much.
Why do you guys need an electronic door system?
Because then it makes it very easy to track who's in and out of the building. It makes changing keys, if you have any type of lost key situation, very easy.
Can't you do it with a camera?
What's that?
We have a
Can't
camera.
you do it with a
No,
camera?
you can't control the door with a camera, you can just see who comes in.
No, you can't control the door, but you, like he said, that you know who's going in and out.
It doesn't matter. So in other words, if you had a key and you lost the key and we didn't want you to come in the building, instantaneously we stop you from coming in the building. All we do is take a picture of you coming in and out of the building that we didn't want you in. So that's why we would have it. So it's like instant control to say that person doesn't belong in the building anymore, or we don't want that person to have a key, whoever that person may be, and you can instantly take it right out, boom, you're done.
And the other thing is we're having, now like our assessor does nighttime hours, we would like a little bit better control of who's in the, it's gotta be open for the nighttime hours, but if she's then working after that, it'd be nice to have a little bit better control of it, so.
A little bit better security.
But, we talk about it, but we've never gotten a price. And all I'm suggesting is that we get a price on fixing that door, and then get a price on this.
Are you talking the swiping of a key, or just a number you would
It's a
punch in?
fob.
Key or a fob, one or the other. Key card or a fob, one of the two.
Who would we look to on the repair for, or is that something we should just advertise?
I have no idea, we haven't done any business with anybody lately that,
We tried Gagne, he did the
yeah, he did the post
post
office.
office doors. Did a good job on that mess over there.
Right.
We had to reach out to him,
Yeah, get an initial so we know if we have to bid it out.
and the lock thing, is probably gonna have to bid it, I would think.
Yeah,
Yes,
You do have another option, what I do with a lot of my rental properties, it's called a smart key. And what it is you put in your smart key, you put another pin in, and you could put any key in after that, and it re-does your key. So if someone were to lose their keys, you could actually change all the locks to the new set of keys for the cost of a cut key, which is a couple of dollars. So you do have the cameras, I'm just saying if it ends up being kind of costly, that is something you can do. I don't know how often people are losing keys. And then you don't have to go through all the electronics that has to be done for the doors. I know Yale does it, there's a couple other ones. The cost is maybe like $100, $200 for the lock, but after that, it's just whatever a cut key costs. So,
And it sounds
granted
like-
you have a lot of cut keys, but you don't have to do it for every door, but just another option. It's called a smart key, it's just a pin you put in.
that sounds like it gets around the rough opening doors a little bit better too.
Yes.
Doesn't have the time, doesn't have that quick time delay on it.
It's just, but also it's just, I'm just saying if I have, let's say my tenant loses their keys, So instead of having to change all the locks out, all I do, because it's a smart lock, I put my pin in, which comes with it. I put a new key in, and then the tumbler's all set up for the new key. I take that pin out, and now it's done. And now I can go get those keys cut for them, and it didn't cost me anything but what the cost of the cut key was. But the first thing is, that's the first cost. So I know Yale does it, which usually they do the commercial doors and stuff like that. So it's just an option, to maybe try that before you, because I know if you're gonna do the electronics, those are all electronic, and you gotta send that, you're gonna have to wire those doors up with those crash bars and all that, so.
Just a little food for thought. We have that card system down in North Woods. We went down to shoot our league trap last Sunday and the power was off.
We have a generator.
Can't get in.
We have a generator.
Yeah, you have a generator. Oh, yeah, we have a generator, okay.
No, the Yale system
That sounds like a good idea.
sounds like it gets around all of the issues and
maybe a lot
still
cheaper,
gives
too.
us the update ability.
And I know they're not the only ones.
Some money too.
I think
Yeah, save money.
there's other companies that do it, you just have to decide. And they do have the programmable ones as well. So you can put a key in where you punch it in, but it's gotta be part of the lock. I don't think it works on the commercial doors. But your interior doors, absolutely, you could do it for that. You could put all the key locks in. Those run about $100. So your interior is easy. It's the exterior you're gonna have the more of the electronic part.
We should see if the judges wanna look into their side for the next grant. Because those,
Yeah.
they seem to be perfectly willing to pay for small infrastructure items, especially around security. Because it paid for our cameras, didn't it?
Yeah. You can't pay for the cameras, it's good.
Why don't we figure out what the price will be, and we'll talk to Bob and Bob. Now, granted, since they just got their last one, it would be a year from now before you did.
Yeah, they just-
I still think we need to fix that door though. Because somebody's not gonna remember to pull it, and this place will be open. So coming out of this, look at the Yale system, and find out, and Steve, you're gonna find out.
From John Davis.
Should I check into the company we're using now and see if they have that?
Sure.
That's well, just get an idea.
Who's the company we're using now?
Cormax, it's, Cormax out of Buffalo.
Yeah.
That's where we get all the keys from now.
Yeah.
And then discussing the security camera system, that's, we don't have anything to do with that.
No, I think, right now, don't we have to call in Humphrey to read it, or?
We do, and it's based out of the, in the judge's secretary's office.
All right,
And we talked about
Change
bringing it to Bob's
supervisor's
office
also.
and my office as well, so that
to have access
we have
to.
access with the supervisor in my office to access to the cameras, and still have Humphrey guide us if we need it,
He's still the controller of it. We would just have access similar to what the court
what
does.
she does, yeah.
So at least it should be at least at the supervisory level, I agree.
So the first thing to do would be to get a hold of Humphrey then,
Yeah,
No, first,
well,
wouldn't the first thing we do talk to the judges since they paid for it?
right?
Obviously, security of the building was a responsibility, first responsibility of the town supervisor.
Yes.
So that's why you should have access to it. So
Yeah.
I think we probably should inform the judges of what we wish to have and then go from there.
You want me to send Bob Pen an email?
Yeah.
And is the tone, would like to talk to you about this, or is the tone,
We're gonna do this.
we need access to this? I thought that was a choice.
Yeah, well,
Do you want me to do it? We need access to this. Is that the?
Yeah.
All right.
Listen, the supervisor, their security district's responsibility of the building falls on the town supervisor. He
Yes.
does not have access to that. That's, to me, that's ludicrous, so he needs access.
So
Well, the security.
I'll hit them both.
All of this can go along with the security camera system too.
Right, that's what I mean, that's what we're talking about, discussion of security camera system. So that the
Well,
supervisor has
that's-
access.
I thought we were on the security camera.
That's what it is.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
they'll go. Let's see, soccer scrimmage at Emery Park, and we allowed them, to do that, a year ago, all right, Steve?
Yeah, wherever there is.
Well, it's different now.
They're-
It was a team with their own liability insurance. Now they wanna have a day when they can bring other teams in for a little picnic and do scrimmage and whatnot. And I thought that the town board should make a decision on whether they should be covered under the town insurance or under the soccer that's out there insurance, or how's that work? I think
They
it's
have their
brought
own-
up that they're a guest, so that the town would be.
We're responsible ultimately, but they have their own insurance too.
The soccer team does,
Yeah.
yes.
I mean, it worked last year that I saw.
Well, that's not, yeah, that's, the issue isn't with the team that's already been okayed to be there. You have their liability
Yeah,
insurance.
but I mean, a year ago, the same situation existed and it worked out okay.
They didn't do it a year ago. They only just had their own team there practicing.
Yeah,
This year, they want to bring in some teams from around for a little tournament, scrimmage. I don't know, maybe even a fundraiser for them, I don't know, but the town certainly should know that.
Yeah.
He asked permission, and I said, we gotta get that from the town boards.
So the team that we already gave permission to utilize the field for practice would participate in this? though?
Yes.
Yes, they are the host.
Yep, okay.
Normally, if somebody gets hurt, it's sue everybody.
So we're gonna get sued no matter whether we did it or not, so it doesn't make a difference. So
so should we go on record as approving this?
I say yes. When we have the field for it, we don't approve it.
That's right.
If we already have it, we're gonna use it. If we're not gonna have it, why have it, why let anybody on?
Yeah, yeah.
They're gonna have visiting teams.
Yeah,
And this is just, you're gonna have more than one visiting team
sure,
at the same time.
sure.
I think it's the team's responsibility for their own insurance. My grandchildren are on same type of thing, basketball, soccer and all that, and their team provides the insurance, no matter where they're at. So we should not be responsible for,
We are anyway.
No,
No,
you're
it's a
not.
co,
Yes, we
it's a
are.
co.
We are. If we let them use the thing, we will let them use it. I'm not saying that we cover them with the insurance, we're still gonna be responsible.
well, I understand that, I'm talking about the insurance part.
What I'm saying is those other teams, I'm certain that are coming along, probably have insurance.
I'm sure they do. They're participating in other towns, and I
Right.
would think that'd be a requirement.
Yeah.
Should have a copy of it.
I say let them use it, you know.
We have it.
We have it there.
Right, we have it.
Yeah.
So if we, here's a question. If someone wanted to take their family up there and utilize the park, and those kids went out and played a soccer game, we don't require insurance from them.
No.
It's not an organization though,
Doesn't matter.
it's a family. Yes,
Doesn't
it does
We're
matter.
still responsible,
Doesn't matter on having an organization versus a family.
but we're still responsible. It doesn't change the responsibility of us.
Yeah, whoever is up there, where they get hurt, it's our, it's our.
We're gonna be responsible no matter what,
It's our-
because
it's
if we
our-
give them permission, even with insurance, we're
We're
gonna have liability, we're gonna have some form of liability into
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
is what I'm saying.
See, that's one of the things we looked into when I built that park. That park had only town of Stafford money in it.
Mhm.
So we had full control of that park,
Mhm.
but they don't have anymore. They've got federal and state money in there.
Yeah.
So you can't control it. They can come in from Timbuktu and you can't keep them out of there. But we were still liable. If somebody fell down, got hurt,
Right.
Yeah.
We accept liability. If we have it there, if
Right.
it's utilized, we accept liability. Unless you wanna make sure that they have some type of insurance, I don't know. Whatever visiting team, just like he provided to the host, I don't know if that's what we do, or just let them use it,
That's why you guys are talking about it.
yeah. I say 11.
We checked on it before, they can sign all the waivers they want, that don't want.
Doesn't matter.
That don't want.
No,
It's
it's not waivers, it's
Yeah.
proof of insurance.
That's all it is.
So what do you wanna make a motion to do that, or how do you wanna read this?
I make a motion, we allow them to use it.
Okay.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor,
Council.
say aye to do this.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. No, it's not.
Did we talk about this code enforcement? Agreement between the town and
That was
Stafford?
in your roundtable.
Why don't we do a round table?
State can tell us what to do, federal, they took state money to do some things,
We'll talk about that.
that opened the door.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because we had it, so that all the.
There's a question here, Water District 12.
Now people stay with
There's been a 30-day permissive referendum. Addressing,
Yeah, I've been out of town for a while. I came back, I didn't have anything in my mail from the water district, so I was just wondering where we're at with that.
well, exactly where we're at, I can't say, but there is progress. I mean, it's a 30-day permissive referendum. We had to do that because of the increase in the cost.
30 days from when? From,
From the March meeting. Kathy, we discussed having the meeting April 18th, the bond resolution meeting. That will end the permissive referendum.
oh, is that what that April 18th is?
Yeah, that's what the April
Oh,
18th is.
okay.
A special meeting.
Special meeting is on the 18th?
On the 18th, 7 PM, here.
Anything more on the item there that you wanna,
On the water district?
yeah,
No, I'm good on the water district, I just didn't know where we're at with it.
okay. All right.
Do you want me to go over the next one?
Oh, I see.
So she's got forwarding, so this is what she wants to discuss next.
I tried looking in the comprehensive plan and in the zoning and the planning, and I couldn't figure out where to find what needs to go out to bid and what doesn't. Like when we're,
There's a financial, oh, wait a minute. I never get it right. What is it? $3,000, we can do it. Over that, you gotta get a request for.
bits of,
We adopt it every January.
see, and I
So
looked back in the January thing and I didn't see anything about it.
January organizational.
Oh, okay. So it's like 3,000, anything that's gonna cost over 3,000 goes out to bid. And we can see those bids, cause then I went to the website on that bids and RFP page, and there was nothing on that page posted there since like 2015. But now there's, I'm assuming they're working on the website, cause I can't get on it half the time.
If you look at the FOIL law, one of the exceptions is detail on competitive bids. So you'll see an entire amount, but we're not going to expose our prospective vendors' cost structure to their competitors.
Oh, no, I mean like, to see the bids, like, what they're bidding on. Don't they all get the same information to make their bid? I mean, I don't want, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but again, the detail that they send back,
All right,
yeah, except for the amount.
just the description
Yeah.
of what we're looking for in the bid, basically. Okay.
And a lot of times, what's done is we usually have vendors we go to all the time. If they go over, if the job scopes out over the limit, then we have to go to bid.
Item number 3 is, item number 2, you satisfied?
Yeah, yep, I'm good with number 2. So 3, the agenda minutes and like when we get these agendas and it says like adopting law number 1, it doesn't say what law number 1 is. You know what I mean? Could there just be a little more details and sort of these register, you know, because maybe people don't care and some people do care what the resolutions are.
I usually read it.
Right, but then people would have to come. My thing is, if the agenda that's posted had a little more information, maybe people either would come because they have questions, or they wouldn't because they understood what it was.
Well, it goes out over the,
Not so much the law number 1, just basically like any of the resolutions. I looked back on one and I was confused what it was.
Can I interject just real quick? So basically what you're asking is like an extra line item that just gives a little more detail.
Yeah, on what the resolution is.
okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Anything else on your,
Not on that one. Oh, and then the bids and stuff, okay. No, I'm done. Okay.
I would agree with her too. Sometimes it does help if, I don't have to try to go back and look to see what that resolution or whatever was. I can kind of see the highlight. It's, oh yeah, I remember now, it come in, so I can see where that might help. People just have a little extra information on that line. You all know, because, you know, you're dealing with it on a regular basis
They'll
every
have it in the
day.
minutes the next month to reference it anyway.
Yes. Thank you, Cathy.
Thank you.
this here?
That is a reference, well, does somebody else want to take what this is?
And what?
This,
Yes, it's just an agreement, is that the agreement?
yeah.
Yeah.
Basically just a copy of the agreement between Pembroke and Town of Batavia that they would, in the absence of their code officer, for whatever reason, would take over for us temporarily. So it's our backup, basically.
It
So it's
can
an
be
agreement.
temporary or permanent.
Well, this is temporary.
Well, this one,
This can be permanent, but it also can be temporary.
Yeah. I mean,
So-
you could have your code and zoning, you can have our guy do
Well, we could
code.
easily, like I said, we could easily change it if we had to for contractual purposes,
Yeah.
but this is basically a contract with them so that they had somebody for that.
It's kind of like a shared service.
Right. And if it came to that, obviously if it was extended period of time, we would enter into an agreement with them for a longer period. Because this doesn't basically put the cost on it, only that the cost would be agreed upon as needed.
all this is a sample of
Right.
what they offered.
Right. This is what they have and this is what the agreement would be. They signed an agreement with between the two towns. This is from 2009, but we could just update it for what we needed.
Yeah, they didn't have a chance to.
Right, we could utilize the one from that, just to have right now, we have no backup. So barring exigent circumstances, we lose our zoning and code enforcement officer, we don't have
Yeah.
anybody. So this would automatically just imply that the town of Batavia would help us take over for us temporarily.
Don't we have 2? Don't we have
Yeah,
2
one.
code?
One.
This one.
For now.
Yeah, and we're looking at what the options are for us to do. This is one of them. We can look at next on the list, because we did a pile of interviews. We can look into using substitute coverage, like what Pembroke does. Some towns have gone to where they simply contract it completely, is it?
Pavilion does.
Pavilion does that. That, I don't think that covers zoning though.
That's only on upon request. They'll do zoning upon request.
Because a lot of times it's both at once.
Yeah, it is. Also, we're just at this point in time, I think with Gene, we're just gonna go with one until we see how this works out.
Well, why don't we get a price on
Yeah, what they would charge us.
what they
Right.
charge for temporary and what the,
Temporary. We could do that.
then follow it up with what do you charge for,
Or what would you have to
Doing
take
the whole
over,
thing.
Right,
And this would be with the town of Batavia, right?
right.
So I
Maybe.
missed something, so we have one zoning guy and it's Gene
Sinclair.
Yeah.
Sinclair? And he's working 12 hours a week or 24?
12.
Well, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Is he getting the $34,000?
No.
Nope.
Well, that's good, because we were paying the other guy
What,
34,000 for 12.
we'll look into it, we'll get a, we'll find out what they say for a contractual part of it, for on-call type thing, as we need them as an on-call, or if we need them for an extended period of time, or what with the contract fee.
We'll have to figure out who we contact up there.
Yeah,
You know, don't forget,
Stand himself.
I believe there's a procedure where you can simply give it back to the state there too.
there is. The only benefit of Batavia is they have a town engineer
Yeah.
on site, so if we need an engineer, that, when we contract with them, they have it. So,
Well, I must have missed something. We haven't been here for a couple, 3 months. I was under the impression we had two. What happened here? Is that like a secret?
So we're down to
one,
Gene.
just eliminated the position.
Oh,
Oh.
No, he's officially gone, so we only have one.
okay.
Well, right now, we have where we pay a substitute for.
Right. It's in the organizational.
Yep,
It's right in the organizational minutes, so we need to match this up
right. With what we do with the
with
organization.
what they offer.
But we have to have somebody for that too.
Yes. Yeah. So why don't we work on rewriting this for next month's meeting?
Right. So we should look at it like a per visit, let's say, for code.
And right now, we authorize $200, right?
I think that's what we do.
Per visit.
Hmm?
Is it per visit?
Per
I
visit.
think so, per code visit, and then, what we would do contractually. We'll do that.
Yeah.
I'll make copies of it, so you guys can name, just maybe go up there one day and say, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Steve, you chased this down?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. We've been talking back and forth, and glad you did it, so.
Before we pay the bill, Steve, you got anything you want?
I'm good. All's good.
No, it's, but,
Yeah, I've got a couple of things. Broadband coverage. Bob and I met with Matt Landers, who's the county manager. The bids are still under negotiation, so I can't really give any numbers on it. I can give some, what we did is after he updated, I asked him, all right, now let's do this over again with what I can share. So there's 67 addresses that will be covered. We have a total of 9 that, just like with the power company, they will grant you so much wire to come back to your house. It's going to be the same thing with the cable people, and it's under negotiation how far back they go.
don't remember what the current is, how much the power company, 100 foot they give you. This gas company's the same thing, they give 100 foot and then you gotta pay $14 a foot thereafter. So that's still being negotiated, what it is. And we have 11 properties that would fall in that range. No, I'm sorry, we have 9 properties that fall in that range. Now, the promise was out of the county that they would get it to every building. We do have areas where there are no buildings. We also have 11 that it's a combination of the cell towers who would naturally use the cell network to get any type of internet they want, so it's unlikely they want it. And there's also buildings that look completely abandoned. There's 11 of those, and we thought we couldn't, until the bids are done, this is the quandary, until the bids are done, they won't give us the list, any of the lists. They will work with us over the phone, and what I was going to try to get was Lori to line her up with the county manager and then just click off the properties off her system and see what she has for information, and then go from there, because this is a good chance to do it. It's 6 figures. It's less than the estimates we had seen before, so competitive bidding did knock off some. There are 2 companies still in the bidding process. If you recall, there was going to be phase 1, phase 2. Stafford right now is in phase 1, so that means 18 to 24 months. Now, and again, that's got to be locked in, but it's likely we're in phase 1, which would mean 18 to 24 months from when the bids are approved. All right. So of course, nothing comes without a price. Matt asked if we would be looking at putting up any of our resources for this, likely from the franchise fee. Now, right now, we've never reserved the franchise fee. The only people that I know of that did was Batavia, and when I talked to Heidi about this today, they no longer do a reserve. They dropped the reserve a while back. So just like us, we treat it as regular income, and then we have to either do a budget change or go to the next budget. I covered with Matt that it would be likely go to the next budget.
How much do we get in the franchise fees? Is that quarterly?
I believe so, yeah. What is it, about 25,000 for the year?
Yeah, something like that, I think it's $2,500.
A year? Not quarterly?
2,500 or
Per
20?
quarter.
2,500 or 25,000?
Per quarter?
Per
No.
What's
That
the
would give
total
you
yearly?
$100,000.
Yeah, no, I know. What's the total yearly? I'll turn this
I
up.
can't give you the exact number, but I think it's around $25,000.
It's around $20,000. So about annual. All right.
I'd have to look.
It's a 5,000-6,000 a quarter.
You know, where we got lucky is what was that, Randall Road, where they we went through all the steps that you would with the franchise fee, and then
They ran the cable,
they ran the cable.
didn't cost us anything.
It was like my road. All of a sudden, they're putting new poles up. I thought I'd never get it. All of a sudden, they're putting new poles up, and I go down and ask the guy, "Why are you taking down what looks to be a perfectly good pole?" He goes, "All question is Spectrum is going to hang their cable on this, and part of their deal is all the poles have to be of a certain condition."
So that's when I found out that we're finally getting cable down that road. Previously, it was $22,835 to run it from the end of Morganville to the end of, I'm at I'm 1,000 feet down Thwing Road. We gotta look at the map. Caswell Road is in, your road is in. It looks to be pretty complete coverage. They were thorough enough where there appears to be some building off in the back of Godfrey's Pond that's 2,300 feet from the highway. They wanted to know if that's a building that needs cable. I don't think they're ever going to give us
That's a house
free
way back
2,000. Is there?
That's a house.
That's a house near Godfrey's?
Yes.
It's not the clubhouse.
No. No. There's a
That's
long ways back in there.
good example. That's why Lori going through these. Yeah, they were Matt was pretty strict about what could be let out before the bids are gone. So I'll cover that with Lori, and because I set the goal since the meeting, get a hold of Heidi and find out about the reserve, and I just told you about the reserve, and then I gotta get a hold of Lori. When is she in next?
Tomorrow night,
All right.
Well,
4:30 to 7.
Well, isn't that perfect? Because we'll be.
Yeah, we'll leave it there.
Yep.
Trying to get a grant to pay for that, or?
That's what, they have a grant.
Oh, they do.
We tried for a grant, but we would have had to have owned the system to get the grant that was being offered. And about the only spots that applied for anything to do with broadband with that type of grant would be like if you wanted a Hamlet Stafford hotspot, where you could get onto a internet connection just by virtue of being,
In that area.
yeah, and they were more developed villages where they basically did a hotspot for the whole business sector, and they owned it. So that we got past the first wave on it, and then in the second wave, the question came up: who's going to own it? And no amount of finagling would get us some money, so we moved on from there.
You mentioned earlier, I'm sorry, Ron, 67 needed, so we have 67 addresses that don't have cable,
That's right.
basically?
We have
So
six-
did,
We have 67 addresses, plus 9 that are at a significant distance that have to be investigated, plus 11 that they appear to be abandoned, but we want to check before they finish this up.
so I know Bartoff Road was one that didn't have any and they really wanted it.
Yes,
And then
Bartoff Road is
School,
covered.
parts of school and all that?
Yep.
Okay.
One of the things that would have been handier, and we told Matt, we said, you've got the map, it shows us where the identified houses are. And again, we can't get the map because bids are still, aren't resolved. It would be a whole lot handier if you put where the cable is now. Spectrum was the one that made the maps. You would think they'd show where their cable was, but it doesn't.
Yeah, because they're on both ends of those
Because
roads.
the map we had that seemed to have gotten thrown out by mistake, it's covered or something, it disappeared. They made up a map for us and it showed where all their cable was and showed what houses were hooked up to it.
well, I went to, they don't have their place on Cedar Street anymore, but it's out
near Target or someplace in that.
Yeah, I went out there
No,
and they didn't know nothing about it.
no, the one on Cedar Street was their service.
Well,
That's just, the one by Target's just a retail store.
That's where I got the map that was in here, it was from,
Cedar.
yeah, they gave it to me.
Yeah, no, the Target one is not a replacement for Cedar Street. They must have consolidated somewhere.
Yeah. Well, it's now, that's just,
There's still a location of Batavia from my
We should know where it is.
They're all out of Cedar County now.
It's not the store, they gave me an address, but I
Oh, did they?
don't know where it is.
Okay, I think that's all I have, so things are still on track. We just need to do a little bit of follow-up work that's made a little bit more difficult on how tight-lipped they are. That's it for me.
Does anybody know what the deal is with the furniture in front of Godfrey's Pond?
I was gonna go sit
There's like a living room out in front, or right along the driveway. There's a TV out, there's a TV out there, a couch, a chair.
a big huge pile of wood.
It's like they're arguing with the people
No,
next door.
Unfortunately, it's a litigation that's going with the owners of that property and Godfrey's Pond, that right away. So out of spite, they put a bunch of tree trunks all the way down through, they dump all
Well, that's been there for a couple of
manure.
years, but now we come back from the south.
Oh, no, the furniture's been there, they just added to it. I think there's probably some kind of zoning that says they shouldn't be having indoor furniture, it's like a whole living room set out there.
There's a TV out there now.
Oh, there's
Private
Steve.
property.
Yeah, noticed
I
it.
missed that.
They do decorate it for the holidays.
I did see an Easter bunny, yeah, I did
They-
see that.
That's private property, let them fight it out.
No, it's, that's why I'm sure there's probably something with zoning here that they probably shouldn't be putting all that and then there's a burn pile in the back. Underneath that burn pile, there's more furniture that looks like they're probably gonna be burning once the weather, so.
It would be part of the maintenance portion of the building code that would fall under.
Add it to the list.
Probably Gene
The only
doesn't know
problem is
anything
we're out
about
of
it.
resources to be able to.
Yeah,
So
can't fight
we'll send
it.
him over there.
I know people from Godfrey's
Can't miss
Pond, Godfrey's Pond hasn't said nothing, cause they're, like I said, they're all in litigation right now, so they don't wanna ruffle more feathers and,
They had the police there.
but I know people that live on the street have, saying it's kinda obvious. But
And don't forget, if it's ag land, that kind of stretches what you can consider lack of maintenance.
Well, I think living room furniture out near middle of the field is,
they had it lit up for Christmas, they had lights out there. I don't know how they're getting the lights to stay on, but they had lights on there for Christmas, and Easter Bunny was out there for Easter.
One more thing about the newsletter. The newsletter went out, we asked that everybody encourage everybody that you know that doesn't have water in the town of Stafford to please fill out that survey. That's really gonna be the gist of how far, where we go with water in the future. So if everybody that doesn't have water, whether they want it or not, just fill out the survey and give you an idea where we're at.
Is that survey available if they wanted to come in and pick it up in writing? Cause I know, I had somebody call me and
Nope,
say,
it's online only because.
I don't know how to do
Don't have to,
it.
you can go online, there's an online, you don't have to do the phone app or whatever it is. You can go online right on, there's an online website right there to do.
okay, I'll
And then
help her,
because Clark
cause she's,
Patterson's running that whole thing for us, they want to be
Yeah.
able to access that information.
I had an elderly lady call me, she knew nothing about it, she read
Do
it.
you have access, Kathy?
I do, I'll help her.
There you go, thank you.
Yeah.
Help her out with it.
She asked me to ask if there was a printed version, I said I would ask her. So I'm glad you brought that up, I forgot.
That was a couple meetings ago, that was, they offered it for free if it was structured like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, they'll take care of the whole thing and they did it for free for us, so.
Okay, I'll help her.
No, all set.
Can't pay them till.
Do we want to do a short executive section to go over
One bill.
one bill?
Yeah.
But it's involving personnel, so.
You wanna pay the bills first?
Can't, we gotta adjust the,
Just raise your hand.
I wanted to say something before you do that, and then we can get out of here, but, The two things I said I'd look into last week for that sign out in front, I've got 3 companies that are sending us information on it.
Okay.
I got one from Florida that sent me a booklet, and I didn't bring it because I haven't got it complete yet, but they're the ones that did, I think 6 of them in Batavia, and they've done quite a few of them around here. They've done 500 of them in New York State. And I talked to that lady quite a while, and they don't even come and look at the property, they just go by a satellite and they can spot it. And she says that you have one of the big expenses of that is installing it. But she said you can put it on the front of the building, you can put it on 1 post, 2 posts, however you wanna do it. But when I get the other 2, all that information, then I'll bring it in. The other thing is, my wife with the flags, all the information's gone over to the lady there. She's printing up the thing and I'm gonna get it back, and she's supposed to give me it. Supposed to have been here tonight, but she thought the meeting was the 3rd Monday, so they didn't get it. But you'll have it next month, you'll have everything that you gotta know about the flag, so. But the sign, some of them are expensive. I mean, you can get up 30 grand in some of them if you want to spend the money on them, 20.
Sure.
But you can get them for 3,500 too. Now the ones at St. Paul's Church in Batavia, those guys bought it. They only paid around 4 grand for that one. But they installed it. I mean, there's really nothing to install it. I mean, you can have 6x6 posts in the ground, or like the lady said there, the nice way to do it is, if you can, is to put it right on the front of the building. Your electric's right there, you just gotta go through the wall, but I don't think they'll see it there. I want it out where they can see it, but I'll get all the information. I got one company that's already got it to me, and I got 2 more coming, so.
It's kinda tough because if you don't travel on Route 237, you don't see it.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people that do, and the people that do see it, like she said, the people that see it here talk to other people, you know?
Yeah.
And they may talk to people that do travel on Route 5 that don't see it, but.
Well, we do own the property all the way to Route 5.
What sign is
Yeah.
this?
What kind of sign are we talking about?
An electronic billboard to put out front,
It's
like they do in
one
front of the
for
fire
park, they
office,
have
to
a
notify
sign.
people of the meeting, of the hearing.
What's that?
But the other thing is, the difference between a 1-sided sign and a 2-sided sign is almost double. She said maybe you can get away with a single, just putting it that way, but we'll see. When we get all the information, we'll get in, you guys can look it over, and it won't be for a year anyways, because it's gonna be something probably for next year.
Yeah, if you're going all the way up to Route 5, the best place to put it would be on the corner.
Yeah, you gotta have it right in front of your property, right where right where they're gonna come to see it. That's,
Oh, it's gonna be on the.
like the fire departments put them in front. I drove around and looked at a lot of them. They've got them from elaborate stone pillars to hold it up to a 4x4 post in the ground, so it's
Yeah, like the Tom Potato.
just a matter of preference or how much you wanna spend on
I
it.
don't know what the fire department spent on that one.
Yeah, what's this deal with the fire department? I gotta get a hold of Stan Gear. They're talking of getting another one, changing that one. They said they're having a little trouble with it, so they're gonna get another new one. I said, man, they got money to spend it. Nobody even knows
We
about
gave
it.
it to them.
What?
But Stan Gear's the one's in charge of it. He's supposed to be calling me, and he hasn't called me yet, but I wanna find out what he's found out, where he's gonna get them and where that one come from, but that's a good size one, the one they got there.
Yeah.
Out, is close to the road, and then it goes by pixels. The more pixels in the screen, the clearer it'll be, the further away you can read it, but they do it all with a satellite. She said, I said, well, send your engineer out, I'd like we get together and, when the time comes. Look at it, no, she said, I just do it by satellite. I can tell how far away from the road you are, how high.
Can't put it near the gazebo, or
Anything.
no?
No, that's
Because
the
it's
park.
gotta
This
be-
is the town hall, that's the
Oh.
park. Let's put it in front of the town hall. This is where the meeting's gonna be. They put it right, every one you see, the one in Leroy right on the corner of Route 19
What
and
about
Main
all those
Street
people
there, the
that don't go
church,
down
that's
there?
one of the ones that this Stewart company put in. But there's a lot of variables. Whether you wanna install it, have somebody come and install it, it's not that complicated, other than going across the parking lot or go around the parking lot or however they
You
do
need
it.
to make it like the Golden Arches.
Or put it up
See
closer to the building, you know.
Hold it up.
We'll figure it out when I get all the information, I'll bring it in and you can look it over.
Okay. We'll go into executive session now. Motion to do that at 8:40. Second.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Patty, second by
You got
Councilman
some
Lisa.
in ice cream?
Executive session.
What's that?
Yeah, nice people.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Next year.
Carried.
I gotta go to the top and go get